Hello. So today marks the 40th day of my communication practice, 40th video recording. I cannot be more thrilled. I remember when I started it and I have come so far in this journey, and I know I can feel the confidence in my voice. I can feel the the communication flow in my voice. It flows naturally now, and the voice feels natural to me. The voice sounds natural to myself when I am speaking. It doesn't feel like some other person's voice but my own, and I am and I'm really excited about it. Yes. So today I'm going to continue with this building a second brain book. And yesterday we started with what this book is all about, and today I'm going to read the foundation understanding what's possible, chapter 1. So yes, so author, the chapter name is Where It All Started. Your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. And David Allen, author of Greeting Things Done. And now the author is continuing. One spring day during my junior year of college, for no apparent reason, I began to feel a small pain in the back of my throat. I thought it was the first sign of a flu coming on, but my doctor couldn't find a trace of illness. It slowly got worse over the next few months, and I began to visit other more specialized doctors. They all arrived at the same conclusion: there is nothing wrong with you. Yet my pain continued getting worse and worse with no remedy in sight. Eventually, it became so severe that I had trouble speaking or swallowing or laughing. I did every diagnostics test and scan imaginable, desperately looking for answers for why I was feeling this way. As months and then years passed, I began to lose hope that I would ever find relief. I started taking a powerful anti-seizure medication that temporarily relieved the pain, but there were terrible side effects, including a numbing sensation throughout my body and severe short-term memory loss. Entire trips I took, books I read, and precious experiences with loved ones during this period were wiped from my memory as if they never happened. I was 24-year-old with the mind of an 80-year-old. That's sad. As my ability to express myself continued to deteriorate, my discouragement turned to despair. Without the ability to speak freely, so much of what life had to offer, friendships, dating, traveling, and finding a career I was passionate about, seemed like it was slipping away from me. It felt like a dark curtain was being drawn over the stage of my life before I even had a chance to start my performance. A personal turning point, discovering the power of writing things down. One day, sitting in yet another doctor's office waiting for yet another visit, I had an epiphany. I realized in a flash that I was at crossroads. I could either take responsibility for my own health and the rest of my life shuttling back and forth between doctors without ever finding resolution. I took out my journal and began to write what I was feeling and thinking. I wrote out the history of my condition through my own lens and in my own words for the first time. I listed which treatments had helped me, which hadn't. I wrote down what I wanted and didn't want, what I was willing to sacrifice and what I wasn't, and what it would mean to me to escape the world of pain I felt trapped within. As the story of my health began to take shape on the page, I knew what I needed to do. I stood up abruptly, walked over to the receptionist, and asked for my complete patient record. She looked at me quizzically, but after I answered a few questions, she turned to her files and began making photocopies. My patient record amounted to hundreds of pages, and I knew I would never be able to keep track of them on paper. I started scanning every page on my family's home computer, turning them into digital records that could be searched, rearranged, annotated, and shared. I became the project manager of my own condition, taking detailed notes on everything my doctors told me, trying out every suggestion they made, and generating questions to review during my next appointment. With all this information in one place, patterns began to emerge. With my doctor's help, I discovered a class of afflictions called functional voice disorders, which included problems with any of the more than 50 pairs of muscles required to properly swallow a piece of food. I realized that the medications I was taking were masking my symptoms and in the process making it harder to hear what they were telling me. What I had not what I had was not an illness or infection that could be eradicated with a pill. It was a functional condition that required changes in how I took care of my body. I began to research how breathing, nutrition, and vocal habits, and even past experiences in childhood can be manifested in the nervous system. I started to understand the mind body connection and how my thoughts and feelings directly impacted the way my body felt. Taking notes on everything I learned, I devised an experiment. I would try a few simple lifestyle changes, such as improving my diet and regular medication, combined with a series of voice exercises I learned from voice therapist. To my shock and amazement, it began to work almost immediately. My pain didn't disappear, but it became far more manageable. As I look back, my notes were as important in finding relief as any medicine or procedure. They gave me the chance to step back from the details of my condition and see my situation from a different perspective. For both the outer world of medicine and the inner world of sensations, my notes were a practical medium for turning any new information I encountered into a practical solutions I could use. And that's it for today. It's a very long context, so I won't read it completely, and we will start again from tomorrow. That's it for today's video. Today is the 40th video recording, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.